This is the Fan Bunker presented by Tab, episode 4. This will be based around Origin review. We're a couple of days, we're almost 48 hours removed from the decider. And we've got a few familiar faces back for our fans. So Dave is back for his second episode. Jimmy number 3. Mitch number 3. And the experts on my right is Willie Mason as per Levels Network, Alana Ferguson, and The Grub. The Grub was the key word for not episode 2. Origin 2, and I actually referred to you during that period as well, so we might have a chat about that a little bit later as we get into it. Josh Reynolds, Grub. We're going to start with the Grub from Jimmy. You've got a question around the kicking tactics of Queensland during the decider, and maybe game 2 as well, Jimmy.
Yeah, a bit of both. How much of it do you think was knowing your skill set, maybe that Munster and Dearden aren't as renowned for their kicking games? How much of it were they trying to induce contests, or maybe take a bit off them to make a contest, or so that they couldn't just get so much of a run up returning the ball? Like, what do you think, it was tactical or?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because they were short, weren't they? Now I think about it, I didn't even see
they
it.
took a bit off them to not allow so much Lomax and Toto getting returns.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad point. Dearden's a bit pop gunny. He hasn't got a big, but Munster, when he hits him, he can hit him well. What surprised me was game 1 that he was kicking so much when Cherry Evans was still playing, which was interesting. But yeah, now you think about it, there was so many Queensland sort of contests where the ball was 25, 30 out, and yeah, I don't know. I'd actually like to know, because if it was, it definitely worked, because Queensland they were competing, a couple of weird bounce balls, pass. So, but yeah, it's I don't think they would have had the same, I suppose, mindset if Cherry Evans was playing, because he's got a massive boot, and you want to put him in the corner. I suppose that's what all kickers want to do now, 5x5, and make him come out of trouble. But now you think about it, yeah, it could have been a ploy, another Billy Slater masterclass. And
I don't think anything that Billy Slater does is a fluke. If it was a one-off kick, maybe a couple, sure, or a missed kick, it was all game.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Like, even just, and I've been on the radio last couple of days, and everyone's talking about the jamming defence of Queensland. Like,
I imagine it's been heaps positive.
But honestly, it's very, like, also what people don't understand is, you can jam. Don't get me wrong, absolutely go for it, but it's dangerous. Jamming is dangerous. We got them a couple of times. Only scramble saved them. So when you jam, you got to scramble well, because if they go over the top or beat you with a kick, you got to be there. But look at Dearden's game. I've never seen a bloke scramble so much in my life. Those tackles he was making on Toto, no one's ever made them, ever.
On Toto.
But
have a look how, like, the plays that we were putting on. I watched the game yesterday on TV. It was quite basic, right? Like, Yowie with a lead and out the back, and then another lead and out the back. Like, it's pretty easy to defend when you've got really good middles, right? Middles, the pressure that they were putting on at the 9 and then sprinting out at Yowie, making him play early. He was never hitting the front guy. He was always going out the back, and then they were just like bang, 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 and then they go up, and what do? You cover as hard as you can. As soon as the ball goes past you. They didn't look like it. And every time, like when Tyler was going down the sideline a couple of times, even the other side, see the amount of Queenslanders with way more jerseys than us. And they were scrambling so hard, and every little contest was a little bit better than ours. And then back to the kicking game, they were letting us just say Munster would kick on the 40. And he just pop gun it till probably about maybe the 30 or 40. But it was a sprint down for the Queenslanders, and they were hitting on contact. And then bang, maybe getting Toto in that first one, and then Dill Edwards. Dylan's a great player. He's all work rate. You're not worried about play 2 with that guy, right? He's just going to skip across and all that kind of stuff. You're trying to take the other guy out. Lomax, so they sort of did. They ended up making plenty of meters, right, coming out of yardage, but wasn't. They were just tough meters. It wasn't really like, real control. You're going to give him the 5 or 10 meters every hit.
I reckon they found that the balance as well of times when to compete against Toto and Lomax, but then there were sometimes guys were down there and they knew they weren't going to get there and they formed the line, because sometimes you can do it, and if you go one-on-one with Toto and half miss, that's the start of your set, you're gone. Your set's sort of gone, and then just back on the jams as well, it was hard because Dearden was jamming sometimes, but then the centre would jam sometimes, and as a half, people say, we should have mixed up our tempo and stuff. Yeah, that's all good, but when Dearden jams, you're thinking, well, I would get that ball away fast next time.
It's a different look.
It's a totally different look. And that's just
what would you have done in some of those instances when the ball was just hitting the ground? Yeah. Right? Like, if you see a guy jam, like the 7 did and jamming, and you got your lead, do Crichton should have hit an outball or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like they should have mixed it up a little bit. They didn't even do anything like that.
You got to hit one. You got to hit
or just
one.
hit Crichton early.
Yeah, you got to hit him just to show them. Look, if you do that, that's what we're going to do. And then the next time he might not do it. And then, or it's all about your depth. You know, bring him to you a little bit more.
Very flat.
Very flat compared to them. You look at Munster, they were deep. They were deep running their plays. So, but yeah, Look,
we didn't adjust, did we? We didn't adjust. That's the thing. Like when you see a couple of those looks, like if I'm the back row, left side back row, or the right side back row, I see Dearden coming up a little bit past the ball. You got to communicate with your six, right? Just like hit me on an out ball, so Dearden won't come up and fill that space. You know what I mean? So I was just like, and we didn't do it. And you only get limited chances in Origin, right? They didn't get that many. And every time we did get that space, it's just like, the ball hits the ground because Latrell's really flat. Toto's really flat. Like Dylan Edwards is flat. I'm like, you got to get that right.
Sounds like there was maybe some in-game adjustments that could have been made. Mitch, you want to ask a question to Mace around the Billy Slater storyline?
Yeah, I think we just touched on everything Billy Slater does is on purpose, is intentional. I think one thing all of us as fans can align on is we love the storylines and narrative around sport. Can you give us some insight into how special a coaching job that was from Billy Slater, winning from after losing game one? Probably we would have all thought it was an unlosable series.
Yeah. Well, everybody, if you ask anybody, fuck, mate.
Was it that bad?
Oh, God. What are you doing?
Was the question that bad?
He's a storm Queensland.
Storming. Or Billy. Well, Billy does look like a genius now. Like losing game one at Suncorp, under pressure, looked like we were all over him as a New South Wales former player and a supporter. And us two here just like, we got this series wrapped up. We thought we won it after game one. It's like they got no hope, all this kind of stuff. That was my attitude as well. Can you only imagine what the players were like? They're like, it was 18-6. I didn't get carried away with the score. Everyone thought it should have been like 36 to 10. That's how it looked, but it wasn't, was it? It's 14-6 with 25 minutes to go. If they score, it's game on. That's the belief that Billy would have installed in them for game 2 and 3. He comes up with these little themes, narratives, and he's always got something going on, right? He's always building something, and the belief in his players that he must install. I don't know this personally, but I talked to Nate and I talked to JT a bit. They just love him, and they love playing for him. He's very passionate. He's very detailed, and he's always got a theme.
Did you ever get to play with him on tour?
Yeah, I played with him a couple of tests. He's very detailed. He's probably one of the best communicators that you can play with as a fullback. He's all about it, and he's one of the greatest players of all time. And just having him as your coach, plus the JT, the Cam Smith, the GIs, the Nate Miles, and all around Cam Alfie, all those sort of blokes. We don't have that. We don't have that.
But why? This is what I was looking the other day, and like you work with these guys. Like, is Joey keen to like go into camp? No, but be serious.
I said the same thing.
Honestly,
I said the same thing, Grub.
I think it's going to get even louder after this, right? Particularly the Joey thing. So when Freddie was in there, Joey was in there. He was in there helping with some of their attack and stuff. But it's frustrating because, and it played out this series as well, is some of that structured play, that Penrith influence that came out. But he was in there and he wanted to help. And he was saying things like, play flat in this instance, or hit Latrell, and then you've got, you know what I mean? You've got Crichton there and all the rest of it. But they're so stuck in their ways. So it's not that I don't think Joey, well, I know he doesn't want to be a head coach, but his influence in and around Origin has to help. It's about the right environment.
So when you say he was in, people think he was in camp. Joey would come in for 1 or 2 days and go home, right? So when you say in camp, you're in camp. You are staying with them and everything. He wasn't staying with them any time.
You
know
want
what I
him
mean?
for all 10 days.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, I want him in camp, around Cleary, around everybody, just all that.
I tell you what, Joey, what version of Joey you want. Before game 3, he's up there. So we have to get there early, right? We have to get there an hour or 2 early. You got a news cross, you got this, that, the other. He's bloody doing laps of the hallway. He's sweating. He's like literally bouncing off the walls, that nervous. Like,
that's the energy they need.
This is the energy that they need in Origin camp. This is what they want. You want to feed off guys like that and go, this is what it means. This is how rattled you should be. And these are the little parts of the detail that you need to know before you go out on that Origin field, before you do that training session. You know why you're doing X, Y, and Z, and they're going to throw everything at you and you've got to perform on the biggest stage. Like, you've got to have that energy as well as the brain's trust. And the people around you absorb it, because that's what Queensland have.
And
Queensland
all it
spirit.
is getting you don't really,
Queensland spirit.
like, you don't really need to teach all the X's and O's and everything like, but you just need to get up for that 80 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that. It looks like we weren't up for the 80 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I watched the whole game. I'm like, they just feel like it was that 5% above what we should have had. You know, for the whole game. I'm just like, because when I was there live watching it, you don't really feel it. Then you watch it on TV, you're like, oh, we didn't look like winning that game. They hit harder than us. They scrambled harder than us. Just little things like Ruben Cotter. I thought he's an absolute animal. His detail, his work ethic, getting at marker. He's got caught on the ground, sprints back at A, moves people across, and we're really cumbersome around the middle. We had guys like that, and I'm like, that's those little things, you know? Like, and I'm just like, with Joey, I think this might light a fire under his ass and just go, we need someone like him back in camp, not just for 1 or 2 days going, here's the attacking coach, and then he just goes. He needs to be in camp. Danny Badiris needs to be in camp. Matty Johns needs to be in camp. People who are passionate about it. Paul Gallen, put him back in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone. Like,
that's what we do, isn't it, Mace, as well? And it kills me because multiple New South Welshmen are like, why is Cotter in the back row? And I just said, after that game, because of that, you don't need to be a good back rower to scramble.
It's not X's and
It's
O's
not
at
about
that
that.
level.
It's not
It's
about
not,
that
is
at
it?
all.
It's passion.
I know the exact play you're talking about. Cotter coming back at 8, he sprinted.
Sprint.
How, what, and why? He wants it's will. It's moments. It's a decision.
Some of our boys just like getting up and walking back. Like, it's not a walk back.
The critter grubber kick.
Yeah.
Watch that play. Everyone go home and watch that play.
Yeah.
4 or 5 of them stopped.
Yeah.
Stopped.
And remember the
That's
Stefano.
it.
Eagle Camp's not going to
difference.
do any good on that one. If you were Eagle Camp, because obviously on the game you didn't see anyone move up. Eagle Camp, that was a club game, you'd be getting roasted.
Remember we were talking about the Stefano hit yesterday, Ruben Cotter. He gets
Drilled,
bumped,
first one.
just straight off, sprinted back to A defender.
Doesn't care.
So I thought he was like, oh, he could be in trouble here. Sprinted back, got back at A, everyone shifts across.
Elbow straight
Full
to
set
the
play.
chest and like nearly the head, and then just gets up, sprints back, and goes on the next one.
Dave's got a question for Alana. She gets the best seats in the house for some of these games. Or for most of these big games. You want to talk about the heroics of Dearden.
Yeah, so, I mean, Grubb mentioned it earlier. I think that tackle on Toto sort of epitomised his game, Tommy did. And he's a little guy. He tries his heart out. Even in a lot of Cowboys games, when they're not going too well, he's always head and shoulders above the rest. Now, wins the Wally Lewis medal, starting only 2 games in the series. He's just a big game player. Some saying he's a better big game player than Nathan Cleary. I don't know.
He's got a jersey underneath that shirt.
But yeah, what makes a guy like him so suited for the Origin arena and just reliable that Billy Slater can pick him and know he's going to do that job?
He has killed it every time he's played Origin too, hasn't he? Like, flat out killed it. And it was pretty wild from Billy. Like, to drop Cherry Evans, to put Dearden in there, and he was off the bench in game 1, but he's not even playing halfback at NRL level week in, week out. Like, that's, I don't know, it's wild, but he was always going to be that. We always knew, what we knew he'd always do was his effort was always going to be there. He was always going to attack every last opportunity. So he had a lot of, and he's obviously a brilliant player. He has the Origin qualities. I think it was about refining and then making sure that their gameplay suited one another. And look, Munster didn't necessarily have his best game of footy, but he did everything that he needed to, and he complemented Dearden so that he had the confidence to be the number 7 for Queensland. But he gets that confidence from the work that he did in defence. Like, he was great in attack. He was as good as he could have been in attack. He ran when he needed to. He passed the right ball when he needed to. His kicking game was what it needed to be, but his defence was off the rails. Yeah. Like, he saved tries, he scrambled, he put pressure on them. That left edge was meant to be New South Wales' most damaging edge. And sure, he's got good defenders around him, but he instigated it. Like, he set the pace, he set the effort areas, the scramble. Who makes tackling Brian Toto look easy to save a try? Like, get stuff. That's off his head.
Do yourself a favour. Watch it on TV and just go and watch his efforts in defence.
It's wild.
And I was just sitting there going, "This is a little redhead terror." Right? He's just a strawberry blonde, little strawberry.
Everybody says strawberry blonde.
Who's this little strawberry blonde kid who's absolutely destroying us in defence and in attack? I was just like, I always rated Dearden, always. I'm just like, that was just going.
He didn't even need to play the second half to get men and play of the match. He was a freak.
Then
he
he
was
just
at
icing
everything.
on the cake, and then just the dummy got Luai slipping, Latrell going up just because he had Cotter on his outside because he didn't want to go for the pump that he had in the first half. I'm just like, he's playing chess. We're playing checkers. He's playing with house money. Bang, try, and I was like, oh,
You know
man.
what I love about Dearden, and this is
He's a goer,
I
man.
love how you go down and help out the younger boys, all the younger halves, and they're always asking questions about, well, how's my ball out the back? Did you like that cutout pass? All you got to do for Dearden, I reckon he goes into games thinking, get my body in front, show and go, and push.
You'd love him, mate. Grub.
Simple.
Like,
I just love him. Then you know what it is as well, the difference. Okay, so the Hammer's probably the only guy in the NRL that could have come up with that play. The scoop up, the snaky swerve down the sideline, but who was on the inside?
Yeah.
That's just all it's about.
Yep.
And that's it's not hard sometimes, the game. And I just love him. I actually, as a Queensland, I actually love watching him play.
Yeah.
He competes. There was a tackle last year, if you remember, on Selwyn Cobbo. The chase into the corner and Dearden gets him. He changed mate, unbelievable.
That's the
I love him.
perfect example. Dave brought that up at the start. They were losing and still lost that game, the Cowboys, but he come up with that effort. That's the difference. Mace, this is a question for you from Jimmy around the perfect 70 minutes of Queensland.
Just in recent memory, I don't know if there's been a more disciplined, complete performance from a team like that. Like they didn't, like you said, I think it took 68, 69 minutes before they dropped the ball or made any sort
when
of
Toya
any
tried
sort
to
of
do a
error
flick,
on Toya. Just like, have you seen anything better than that?
Never.
Like,
And me watching the game live, I didn't know that they were on that sort of run because you can't. There's no commentary or anything. You're just watching. I didn't know there were 28 or 30 completed sets. That is awful. If you're the New South Wales side, I don't understand why we were so buggered when I was watching it. Like they just didn't make a mistake. They got to every single kick, and until I think it was the 69th minute or something like that, where Toya tried. He was getting pushed out, and he tried to flick it back in, and we jumped on the ball. I've never seen anything like that. So that plays into the fact why we were so tired, and like you guys like Stefano and that was sitting, like nearly walking around the ruck, and everyone was just so buggered. They were working their asses off. Because 30 sets completed, I don't think it has been done in a club game. No one really does that, and at a high level. It's not like they were doing. It was not like 4 up for a kick. It was playing football for 3 or 4 tackles, deep kick, massive chase, high octane pace, and they kept up with it. And I was like, wow. Then I watched. And then when I watched, I said that's probably why they got those. The tries around the ruck, which I know there's an easy Origin try like for Harry Grant, but like. They belted us into submission, and I could just see it. I'm like, they were hammered 30 sets in a row, no mistake, no nothing, dropouts. Everyone was just so buggered, and they just looked about 5% better than us in everything.
I feel like
It's not like it was four carries for a kick.
No, yeah, exactly.
That was
shifted John
on
Lang.
3 and 4. Yeah.
Johnny Lang,
The old
4 up for a kick.
Hey,
Cronulla and Penrith, that's what he did.
Anything else? Yeah, move on from that one. This one's for Alana. This one's from Mitch. We're going to have a break from Origin and talk a little bit about the NRLW and the Magic Round that's coming up for the girls as well.
Yeah. So I think, obviously we're all massive fans of the NRLW game, and it's been incredible, the growth and how the improvement in the game over the last few years. First NRLW Magic Rounds in Newcastle in a month. Great initiative. Is there what thinking creatively, what other initiatives do you think the NRL could be implementing to keep improving and inspiring the next generation?
Yeah, it's a good spot for it, isn't it? Like taking it to Newcastle. I think they got that right. I think they got the venue right. Obviously the demographic, like they love their footy in Newey too. They love their sport. So I really reckon they nailed. And also just for people travelling, like it's close enough to Sydney. So the more they can sort of create those kind of environments is perfect. I really like the fact that they use the NRL Magic Round to kick off Origin as well. The scheduling of Origin is a whole nother topic, but if they're going to keep it where it is, then trying to use that atmosphere. But it's all about generating those moments. That's what our game's built on. It's built on moments for the fans. That's a really big positive part of the women's game for me, I think, is just the fan base. They get so many kids there. And it's unreal. A lot of their games, they're scheduling, they have like a few games on Saturday and Sunday, they're earlier kickoffs. It gets the kids there, it gets your family there, it makes it a whole family event. So I think the more that they can generate those sort of atmospheres and those moments for the kids, it's the fastest growing part of our game. And it has been for years now, like years on years, which is unreal. So we've got to use that sort of momentum and launch off the back of it. I'd love to see, and I don't think we're too far off, maybe like I think the games where we can have double headers with the men games are great because you can go to 2 and it gives something for the whole family to go to, particularly when they're not too late. But also just tying in some of the next tier or even that junior competition, I think as the women's game keeps growing and we can get some of the younger but rep side sort of playing before NRLW, I reckon that might be a good next step. Just to bring in, you watch Reggie's and then it goes into NRL, like sort of old school what NRL used to be, like create that in the women's space. I think that'd be really cool to tie that in, and so that the girls that are just playing, they get to see, their heroes go on and do the next job, and then same for the kids that are younger, watch like the pathway, I guess, see it in front of them. But yeah, I reckon we're doing a pretty good job using the momentum of the men's game where we can, like Magic Round, and then creating their own version, and then having those standalone games are really important, I think. For the big occasions like your State of Origin.
Yeah, cool. Do you think the improvement in the standard of the game, is that come from girls being able to play through their teenage years a bit more now?
100%.
Or is it more they're inspiring more better athletes that aren't pursuing other sports as well as maybe or a combination of both?
I reckon it's both.
Yeah.
Like I started playing footy when I was 4, had to stop when I was 12, filthy, went and played other codes. But most people didn't. Like I only ever played with one other girl, with or against one other girl that whole time. I was always with the boys. So it's different now because girls don't have that. They've got the opportunity, but then they've got footy on free-to-air TV all weekend. Like they've got that. They've got that to see. And I think where the women's game is now, the skill level and where it'll go is it is entertaining, and it's not just a big bash fest. Like you can watch an NRLW game and State of Origin game and see good footy, good skill level. For parents, when my kids grow up, if they want to play footy, I'd say no dramas, go for it. It's not just chuck them in and hell for leather, and it's just, do you know what I mean? They're just getting bashed and they're getting hurt, and it's stupid. There's no intent because, like, honestly, I don't want to diss any other codes, but there are still products out there that are like that. I think we've come far enough, and it'll continue to go up, that parents can see of both genders, this is a good product. They're great athletes, and if my kid enjoys it, I want them to play and I want them to go well. So I think that's a real positive as well. They can see it. Free to air TV is actually massive. Like you can actually watch every single game on free to air TV on Channel 9 at the moment. That's pretty cool. You can't even watch all the NRL games that way. So I think having that kind of an access, and I reckon the kickoff times are massive. Just making it a family event, making it accessible. And they've done a really good job at growing the game.
So did you just say it's not a bash fest? Did you watch Tigers versus Bulldogs last night? Some of the shots last night. Oh my God.
I'm not running.
Mate, it was unbelievable. I know what you mean though. I know what you're saying. But the product. No, but the last night there was some hits, man.
3 or 4 years ago, there was a combination of a couple of players. There's highly skilled players that might have had touch backgrounds or were proper footy heads, and you can tell they've watched footy regardless of women's or men's. Then you had just pure athletes who were, like Mitch maybe was alluding to, where they were athletes from other sports. They were just big, strong, faster than everyone. Now there's a combination of youngsters that are coming through that have got both. And Rory Owen from Parramatta Eels, I watched her last week in the Cronulla game. She's the perfect example of that. Good, powerful outside back centre with silk. Like the combination of those younger girls that are coming through, just going to explode in the next 5 years.
And it is. It's enticing. It's enticing for athletes, but footballers. I remember when the rugby sevens came in, they won that gold medal. Like people were just watching their games because they were going well, right? It was on the news, and you chuck it on. It's a quick game, but they're athletic, and they look athletic. They put on a good hit. They can throw a mad ball. They can throw a 30-metre cutout. Like they have mad footy skills. That's what we're starting to see in the NRLW. That combination of the athlete and the footy player. Then you see the product. And kids are asking to play, no dramas, go play. That's unreal.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that I've seen in the last few years with the NRLW is that there are so many players, as you guys mentioned, coming from other codes, whether they're coming from sevens, coming from 15s, rugby, athletics, whatever it is. And I think, as the sort of infrastructure around NRLW grows, it's only going to mean people are going to want to come and play in the NRLW more than these other codes. And selfishly, as a rugby league fan, that's sick. I want that, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Well, and you get to listen to Fergie too in free to
air.
A couple times a week as well. So
a dribbler.
Keep the mic for you, Dave. This one's for Grub, and we're going to go to Clubland. The pros and cons for the Bulldogs and Raiders' recent form this year in finals time, compared to the likes of the Panthers and Storm, who've been thereabouts for a number of years.
Yeah, so I think this season's probably unique out of the last maybe even 10 years of that. There's not really one club or two clubs that are head and shoulders above the rest. You know, it's not Storm Panthers or Roosters who are just, they're going to be in the grand final. You know, Raiders on top, Bulldogs in the top 4, even Warriors, although they've got some injuries now. But when it gets to that later end of the season and in the finals run, how do you think these clubs like the Bulldogs and the Raiders are going to go with less finals experience than, say the Storm and the Panthers who might make a charge later on?
Yeah, well, it's a different time of year, that's for sure. And the Bulldogs will be the first, I think, team to say last year they probably got, out semi-finaled against Manly. It was very, very close, but it's all won on such small moments. It's like Origin a lot of the time, semi-finals, finals. But I don't know what it is. I think this year there's going to be some surprises. I really do. It's just the way the comp is at the moment. You can see the style that Canberra play, no one else could play that. No. All they do, like, sometimes I watch Canberra and their try line attack is... I'm not gonna, it's woeful. No, it's
you don't know how to break it down.
Offload.
You don't know how to do
all it
video.
is, Horsburgh runs across field and he offloads, but then you zing it to Timoko and he beats 3 people.
Yeah.
But then they try and set up plays, and it's just like, stick to the
Just say
tackle breaks.
Just say they're on the left post. Horsburgh will get it on the right side, and he could be back on the left side with a fucking offload. Sorry. With an offload back this way, then they'll score on the right side. Like, it's so unorthodox.
Yeah.
And even Tarpane, like and Big Papa, they'll get real late offloads, and everyone just seems to push up.
Yeah.
Which I love that style of football.
Yeah.
You can't coach against like an offload, a real late offload when the middle's getting blasted and you got big bodies and Starling's a little goer. You got all these like young fellas, and then it goes out wide, Timoko and Sebastian Chris, they'll cook you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got the Savage and all these other little fast. It's just like, in weeks, I'm just like, that is a hard team to coach
and that's
against.
the difference, isn't it?
That's what I mean. They can blow them as well.
Yeah.
Blow some tries.
Yeah, but they'll learn throughout the year. Both the Dogs and Canberra have won some games off the back of, coming back, but then also blown some leads. So they'll need to learn off that. But it's right. It's so un-Penrith and Melbourne like, isn't it? But then again, coming into that time of the year, these guys, the Munsters and Harry Grants and Nathan Clearys, the occasion's never going to get to them. Yeah. And then that's the only query, with these Dogs in Canberra sides, a few other ones that you throw into the mix. It's like when the game's on the line, you stick to your principles in a big moment. Don't try and come out of the system and do it yourself. Munster and that, they know what it's all about. But I just got a feeling it's going to be an interesting semi-final series. I really do. I just feel... For the Dogs, I'll go a little bit dog heavy here. I think if they get back into the defensive mindset, that game against the Panthers, that is a semi-final game.
Oh, yeah.
And they could have won that easily.
Yep.
We speak about losses and wins and losses. That's a good loss to have. That's a semi-final style game and not a bad loss. So if they can get back to that style, winning off the back of your defence, I think they'll be thereabouts. But, yeah, it's going to be good to see how all the teams react during that period.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I actually heard Cameron Smith say in previous seasons, like he mentioned the Storm 2021 season, where they were just winning by, decent margins every single game and not really learning from any of those losses. And I think that almost makes teams like the Storm and Penrith more dangerous this year, that they've been on the other side of those wins. They're not just going week to week winning every game, and they're really learning about the other teams. Like Storm lost to the Raiders in Golden Point this year. Panthers have lost to a lot of teams, and finding that out about those other teams before you get into the finals, I think could be dangerous.
I think a really good example of that was it when the Sharks won the comp 2016?
Yeah.
They scrapped.
Yeah.
Like they had a great side, but at times they would bring you to Shark Park, wind, wet, disgusting, and you're like, how do they win that? But they just do, and they're the type of games that you got to be able to you got to smoke teams some weeks, but also be able to get in the trenches and do that. And I think the best team, whoever can react to that during the semis, might win.
Jimmy, I got a question back for Alana again. We're going to chat about the upcoming broadcast deal, how big it's going to be. Obviously, Alana's at 9 as well, so there's been chat around even a standalone Origin. People coming in to try to get Origin. So,
yeah. So this deal goes through to end of 27. So it's still a ways away, but
they're working on it.
Yeah, well, they'd be silly not to. It's going to be huge. That one, well, with streaming services, the popularity of that. Do you think, like, they'd be silly not to bid for Origin as a standalone whether it's like an Amazon or Stan, I don't know. But like, how do you see that all playing out?
Well, they'd be silly not to. And obviously, a lot of the conversation is that they are. Like, they're in the mix. But you've got to know how important Origin is to rugby league, to the broadcast at 9, obviously, but to the bigger picture, like how much revenue State of Origin, the 3 games, actually brings in is enormous.
That piece of the pie would be
It's huge.
gigantic.
Oh, it's just
It'd be
under
almost-
50%.
it'd be
It's
nearly
like
half-
40.
nearly
Yeah,
half
it's
the
around
game.
40, around the 40% mark. So it is massive. And those corporate dollars, like all that money is so important for our game. So yes, they will hear everyone's point of view and get everyone's bids. It's not just the streaming services though. Like there are other free to air channels, I guess, that want to have it, that want to have the product. And from a 9 point of view, like selfishly, obviously, like I want us to have it. Yep. But I do think that the best place for it is free to air TV. If they can afford to, I think that's the biggest one, right? Yeah. Hopefully they can afford to be within the race and have it on free to air. I think it's so important. Like our sort of like generation, the younger generation, they're sweet with streaming. No dramas, like all good. Like we all have 17 different platforms that we can stream from, but we're not the only people that exist, and certainly not the only people that have always bought into Origin and literally live for Origin. Like it's the best time of the year. Like Christmas is cool with your family, but like how good's Origin in that period of the year? So, do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's pretty silly to completely disregard that and not have it on free to air and have it somewhere different and go, oh yeah, you know, you want to watch your club team, come here, but then State of Origin, go there, or you've actually got to download this app. Like there'll be heaps of people that won't do that.
It'll be, people
people
need to
won't do
understand that. It's not all about this. It's going to be a bit of a war, right? Like Channel 9, Channel 7, they'll probably try and they'll try and hear out like a Channel 7 or a Stan or Netflix and that and go, okay, what do you got to offer? Like just Origin, right? Because it's 40% of the revenue. You can have 27 rounds of NRL. That doesn't make the money. It's the Origin one. So you'd be silly if Netflix and Stan and all these other streaming sort of things, they're going to come to the party. But it'd be stupid if we went there. You know what I mean? You've got to go and stick with either 9 or 7. Because I think they'll probably nearly split it up and just say if Channel 9 get offered, oh, here's $5 billion for the game, and then Channel 7 come and go, here's 9 or here's 8. Like you're going to be in trouble just for the Origin rights or the whole thing. You know what I mean? Because it's come that time where the patriarch at Channel 9, right? They don't have a stronghold on the game anymore. It's a public sort of thing, and like it's going to be up for grabs. Do you know what I mean? Like
do you think the other whether it's another network or a streaming, do they have to blow? Because obviously Nine's got a great relationship with the NRL for so many years. Do they have to blow them out of the water?
It has to blow it out of the water. It has to be like billions more. Like, you're talking billions of dollars now. You're not talking like so. 7 have to come to the party and just go, oh, I want the game so much. So they can have AFL, they can have NRL. They've got the whole thing, right? So they'd have to come to the party big time for Channel 9 to even go, okay, sit back, because that's the crown jewel that Channel 9 have.
I think the game's doing the right thing by opening it up to negotiations, because that's how they get the most money. Like that's what it's a business decision.
Yep.
They want more money, right?
V'landys is
They
a
open it
capitalist,
up.
right?
Yeah, and
V'landys is a capitalist. He's just
smart.
like
He probably couldn't give two stuffs about Netflix showing the State of Origin, but what it does, it shows interest, and what does it do? It drives these guys up. Yep. But the relationship, totally, always has been, and it's worked really well for our game. But the relationship's important. I think the free to air element is massive.
It's got to be free to air. It's got to be free to air. It can't be like on Netflix. And I know that everyone's like, oh, it's free to air and all this sort of stuff. But people will buy it from Netflix. 3 games, right? You won't. Most people are subscribed and everything like that. But like, imagine if they come to the party and just go, here's an X amount of dollars, because it's just ridiculous Origin. You know what I mean? It's just gonna.
Well, it's like anything in life.
Suck.
How much is it to sell your soul?
I know, but I don't think the NRL will ever do that, because they know how blue collar the game is and everything like that. They won't do it, but they'll listen. So they'll put up the price will go bang, and it's just better for all of us. Everybody.
Hopefully what happens is they come in, they get their big offers from elsewhere, and then they stay loyal, and Channel 9, for instance, says, you know what, we can get to this point. This is good enough for the game. This is good. Let's be realistic. This is good enough. Let's work together, because we have for a very long time, and let's make it work.
And it would have to be something that would just blow the game out of the water. Like Netflix comes and goes, here's $10 billion and 9's at 3. right? You know, you'd be stupid if you did, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to stay in Channel 9. It'll be free to air. It's just going to be a bidding war, which is great for the game. It's great for everybody.
There are other elements too. Like there are elements to the production and to the way that it all works behind the scenes that you don't see. You don't just turn the telly on and they start playing footy. Like
Even the
they know
talent
what they're
footy.
doing. They've been doing it for X amount of years. Like there's the TV side of it that I don't even get. I turn up and just chat a little bit of footy. Like that's the easy bit. There are people doing a lot of the hard yards, all the hard yards to make it look good.
I feel it's like when you see boxing sometimes when it's on a channel that you don't usually see it. You're like, ugh.
Missing something.
It is.
I know what
Nah, it is.
We're
It's the
not
type of
DAZN
person.
just bought Foxtel for
that's a
3.4
great-
million.
That's a great point, Grub, because this is where it's going to break up the fan base because I like boxing, I like UFC, but if I have, they make me go just a little bit extra to pay or on a different platform that I haven't used, sometimes I'm just like, nah. So there will be diehards that will follow it no matter what, but you'll lose fans who just go, oh, I can't be bothered. Like,
Just get a Fire Stick.
What are they?
Get everything for free. No, I think it's just going to be, Channel 9 or Channel 7. Channel 9 or 7, just leave it there. Channel
Grubby,
7, apparently. Leave it on Channel 7.
zero bias. Mitch has got
Just get Origin 7.
a question. We'll go back to sort of finishing off with the heroics of what money went through for Grub, and then the last one is for you, Mace, around the coaching. So we'll start off with Grub. Your question around money.
Sorry to bring it back to a disappointing night the other night, but
Well done.
yeah, I think we got to give the man his flowers. Like, where does this series and on top of his body of work at rep level, like where does this sit Munster in terms of the all-time greats?
Yeah, well, take all footy aside, and what a man, you know. Like you got to. Not many people be able to do that.
Absolutely
it
not.
just shows, and we speak about what it means to wear the Queensland jersey. That's exactly what it means, and that's where Munster he had this steely look in his eyes. Game 2 as well. Yeah. When I seen him walk out in Game 2, I just was like, I hope this isn't going to happen. And I seen someone say he's top 5 all-time Queenslanders the other day. That is
Matty.
Was it Matty?
It was Matty and
Matty
Cooper were
Johns.
talking about it, and he threw it to Cooper, and Cooper's like, ooh.
It's a big call.
And then the more
It's a
they
big call.
think about it,
But in this arena, he constantly stands up.
yeah.
And it's not like he doesn't do it in the NRL, but there's just something about it that suits him. And he knows, he even says it when he speaks. He knows when he's been off in the arena and he has a sort of crack at himself. And it's sort of like, do you know what I feel it is with him? It's sort of like he's got to snap out of it and be like, all right, come on, let's get serious here. And when he does, isn't it? No, like it does. Yeah. It's like you sort of know him. I feel he's like a bit of a larrikin. I'd actually love to play with him because he looks like a guy that knows how to have fun.
Used to a similar Grub.
But at the same time, I feel, I couldn't turn it on like him.
No, see, your personalities, Grub. Your personalities, like, you know, you get along with everyone, very passionate about the game, can take Mickey out of yourself, but like those are the similarities you still got.
I also think making him captain, a lot of people would have been like, what? Because of that. And that's why, like, you know, you make that comparison. I know that I never should have been in a leadership group. No, but I'm happy to say that because I just enjoy the other side
that's
of
where
things.
you're exactly like
yeah,
but
I'm okay with it as well. Like I understand, but for him, I just felt he actually said, you know what, for Billy to make me captain, I got to actually step up and lead, and that he done. You know, I'm not going to get into the where he sits with Queensland, but I know ever since I've been watching Origin, he's been probably the scariest guy that I've seen in a Queensland jersey.
Let him finish his career. Like, he will be up there, top 5. But he's got another 4 years, I reckon. And he'll probably get another couple of Wally Lewises underneath all that.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, no. He just will. He's just a gun. He's an absolute gun, Munster. And he's captain. And you've got to understand, Harry Grant's captain of Melbourne. Like, Billy went past all those leaders in that Queensland team, Carrigan, all these guys, and give it to that young man. And for what he went through, I was honestly, when I heard that his old man passed away, I would sit here and go, if he won, like, he deserves to win because what he went through. And, you know, I was just like, I don't care if Queensland win because of the fact that money had to go through that and he decided to play. So I was like, and when I talk about before, the 5% that they look like they were better than us at, it's because of those little things, right? You know, they went out there. Munster didn't say anything. He held it all in, and he didn't. Probably wouldn't have brought it up at all during the week. But everybody knew we got to go up. We can't let this happen because he's so highly respected out there. And they went up there, and it looked like they were 5 or 10% better than us. And that's all you have to do. There's a little bit right in Origin, and it looked like that. And it's because of that guy.
When the news came through, the tragic news about his dad, like I messaged all my mates and I said, "Is anyone else shitting themselves? Like, just Munster's just going to turn one on, or the boys they just got inspired." It's
We're talking
scary.
about
It looked like it.
Every single player had their best game.
There was not one bad
Do you know what I
Queenslander
mean?
out there.
There wasn't
like,
a
Nana,
one.
even
They,
in 4
they
minutes, was
lifted
killing
for
it.
money. Yeah, it was mental.
And he didn't have to have his best game.
I think
either.
one guy didn't have the best game. Ashley Klein. He was. He's a Queenslander.
But
isn't
I
he?
watched it yesterday. I swear to God, there was not one Queenslander that you go, you had a bad game. And then I played 4 minutes. We love Ashley Klein. Like, there was not one bad play for Queensland. And I'm like, because they looked at Munster and said that you can't let him down. You can't let him down. And there was a lot of bad plays for New South Wales.
You talking about before, Grub, I think you were talking about before with Dearden, or maybe it was Lana. He didn't have his best game, money. His presence was enough.
It's the same as Josh Papali'i as well, though.
Yeah, well, you can just, and this is, and we take it all back, before the Munster thing. This is Billy Slater again, creating these storylines and Shibasaki and Big Pups. It's so smart. It is so smart. And Billy Slater's a constant winner. One at Melbourne Storm, one at Queensland, one in the Kangaroos. He knows what to do.
Just on the back of that, does he sail off into the sunset now? He's been in 4 series, won 3, lost 1. Does he go coach Australia and win an Ashes?
Should, yeah. Just get out of Origin, Bill. Just get out of Origin. You've done enough.
While we're on the coaching segue, we're going to roll into a question for Mace from Dave, and it's around what makes a good rep coach compared to NRL level. Anything else you wanted to add to that, Dave?
Yeah, well, I think with Munster, you look on paper, he's had now 5 Origin Series wins, 2 premierships under his belt. Like, that's, any player would want that in their wildest dreams. And I think it's maybe only because of the fact that he's come after Smith, Slater, Cronk, both at Melbourne and at Queensland, that people are like, yeah, he's great, but he's not like immortal level just yet. But I think, Mace, you're right. When he finishes his career, I really think we're going to look back on him and be like, especially if he has another few Origin wins under his belt, maybe another premiership or
Just
2.
quickly on the argument that you're alluding to, like that's what you're saying there, Dave. And this is what Matty was saying. And it took Cooper aback because he was part of that really dominant era. But they all had each other. Like, yeah, he's had Ches with him for long periods of that. But when you look at some of the teams that he's had during that period, they're not even, it's chalk and cheese compared to those great Queensland teams. So I think that sometimes goes against him currently, but I reckon it'll be
100%.
in favour when you look back on it in like 5 or 10 years.
that's what I
He's
mean.
never missed a preliminary final. Do you know he's never missed a preliminary final?
Really?
Since they've won? So they've always made it to the Final 4.
He's a gun.
Insane,
But when you look at it, you look at systems and you look at players, and Munster's come through arguably one of the best systems, but he didn't have like GI and Cam Smith. He's lucky to have like different guys like Harry Grant and Jerome Hughes. But like everyone thought that was over, that dynasty. Even the Queensland dynasty was over, Melbourne was over, and he just come in there, took over, and just like continued it. You know how hard that is. You know how hard it is to go after these legends. And greats to the game. Give him another 5 years, he'll have 30 Origins. He'll clean up all the awards, and then we'll sit back, reflect, and go, yeah, Money was one of the best to do it. Just not now, because everybody's in the moment, and he's still young.
I'm happy to go now.
He's quick to annoy everybody. Put him as immortals.
So just on coaching, we've spoken at length about Billy Slater, Laurie Daly. It just seems with New South Wales' team, they have the better team on paper. What is it about rep coaching, and with this conversation around Kangaroos coach as well? I've heard people say like, seems like it'd be the easiest job, right? You just basically get the best roster. Yet, we saw in the 2008 World Cup, Australia losing to New Zealand, Origin teams losing with a better team on paper. What is it about being a rep coach that's so different, and I guess maybe weirdly harder than being an NRL coach?
It's a good
2008
coach.
Kiwis teams.
That was a good team.
Sorry.
It's a hard question because like I've been coached by like some of the best coaches, and their common denominators, they didn't really coach you that much. You're probably playing in the best sides, the Australian sides and New South Wales sides that I was in. Like you're sort of expected to win. It wasn't that complicated. Trust the guys around you. I was blessed to play with guys like Joey and Danny Badiris in the Australian team. We had all the same similar players. It was just like the coaches didn't overcomplicate it. They just trusted like that the players would get it done. I think it's way more complicated now. Way more. There are game plans and everything to put together, but I think the main thing is getting 17 players up for the contest, right? And create all these little like motives, narratives, and all that kind of stuff. I think Billy does all that kind of stuff. Bringing Papali'i in, like Shibasaki, all these not younger players, but like debutantes, and bringing Papa back from 3 years playing club football, and like I don't know. Billy seems just to have that knack, and he's still relevant with players, and people love him, right?
I reckon that part's huge, and this is nothing against Loz. But Billy Slater is relevant. Like he's just fairly recently stopped playing.
2020.
So he's played with some of them, but he's got the playing group. He can relate to them both on and off the field. And that's exactly what he got out of his players. He got them to 100% buy-in. He got players playing out of position, stepping up to, an Origin arena that no one else necessarily backed or even thought that they'd have a slim chance in hell in playing in. And he got them to play their best footy. So like he's got that relationship, but the fact that he's relevant to the players
and still online
they've bought in.
Fergie. Like you see him twice a week, every week, either maybe even 3 times on your shows, whether it's his own podcast, he's doing the Sunday footy show, he's doing a game. So all the players are seeing Billy talk about the game.
Exactly.
And it's a trust thing too. Like if he empowers you, Shibasaki, right, who just got plucked out of nowhere, you're in Origin team, you're in this great team, you got to buy in, we trust you, bang. Big Papa comes in, like all these things, like he must entrust these guys and install them with so much confidence. And it's all about wearing that jersey. Like it's a lot of, when you go into Queensland camp, I know what it's like, they show a lot of history and what the jersey means to them and all this kind of stuff. It's a real big buy-in. And it's a certain player that gets picked for Queensland.
They would know what we know and more. So like think about what do we know about Billy Slater? He was one of the best players ever. That he does his homework, that he's meticulous with everything. And then how does he deliver that to the players? How does he deliver that to Shibasaki? He pulls him in. He says, mate, you are the person for this job. He can relate to him on a playing level, on a coaching level. And he says, these are the only 3 things that I need you to do. Forget about everything else. Like your natural game is it. I need you to focus on these 3 things. You get that job done. You've done everything you can for Queensland. He goes out and does that, play on. Like, so they trust that he's done the homework. They can relate to him and he instills that and they can go out there and somehow have a clear mind in an Origin decider. Like it's wild.
I will say, Loz is getting bashed at the moment. He does all that as well. I had him in 2014 and Hocko and I, everyone was saying we shouldn't be there. He was the guy that instilled it in me that I should be there. And that, I'll tell you one thing, that's all I needed because I had so much self-doubt going into that series. We had to go up against that Queensland team in Cronk and Slater and how do you beat them? And it was Loz constantly instilling all the little things. You know how Queensland won this game? Like that's all we were going off, all those little effort areas and stuff. So it's actually, bull crap that all these.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And you know what as well? There comes a time where it's on the players.
Yeah,
you do so much as a coach.
Ultimately, it should fall on the players, not the coach has got to do something. But the players are on the field.
Lots of cop all this because, and I'm like, players have to take 90% accountability, right? Like Billy's good at what he does, right? But Laurie can come up with some game plan, and Craig Bellamy's there, and all these other brains are there. Like you've got to be able to get on the field and apply it, right? Like you just got to, and that's what I say back to the Munster thing. Looked like they were 5%, wanted it more, and collectively as a group. Fucking looked like it. It looked like that's what happened. And it sucks. And that's why I can sit here and go, they deserve to win because they played better than us. They didn't get out coached, didn't get out, we got out enthused. No one got out coached. Daly could only do so much. You got to execute at a high level out there. And they executed 30 from 30, which is ridiculous, right? I still can't get over. I'm tired thinking about it. And I just don't blame Laurie. He got them up for that game, but they were up a little bit higher.
You touched on relevancy for the current playing group. I love 2014. We all loved 2014, but is that maybe what this team is missing? Is that relevant player who could or might be interested in coaching from that 8 in a row? We just
I just think that's part of what helped Queensland. I don't think it's the be all and end all.
of course not. No.
But I mean, we spoke about it before. Getting players like Joey and getting some of the old players having that culture and the purity of origin. And the passion in and around the group. Yeah, I think that's important. I think we need that. I don't necessarily think it has to be the head coach. I just think that's something that Queensland tapped into that worked really well.
To back up what Grubby was saying, though, we had people like Boyd Cordner in camp. Boyd's one of our greatest ever.
And if you've represented New South Wales and you haven't watched any of Laurie Daly, what he's done for New South Wales, you shouldn't be playing for New South Wales. Like, honestly, if you want, and I understand your point of the relevance, but Laurie Daly is known as one of the best New South Wales players ever. And if you can't get up for him, probably don't give the jersey back, I reckon.
What do you think about, this got on my nerves yesterday. We didn't even make a change for game 3 after game 2, right? Not one. They make 2 changes in a winning team, and we can't make one. That's what got me. And then some of the guys that they
Who
still
would you
stuck.
went, Mace? Who would you, if you...
And that's another thing. I'm just like, it'd be a good time to be in middle right now.
Keon.
Right? It's like you probably put Keon in. You know what I mean? I think we missed Mitch Barnett and how good he was. Be good to have Cam Murray. All these guys who are origin players. Cam Murray is an absolute gun. He cleans up around the ruck. And then it puts pressure on guys like Stefano probably wouldn't be in the 17, right? Max King might fall out because these other guys are in there. I don't know. It's just we should have made some sort of change. But then I'm thinking, who do you bring in? I thought Keon deserved to be in there. I thought maybe that Jack Williams kid from Para, I reckon he could do a job in Origin. I don't know. I think we're running out.
Cam Murray, he missed game 1 last year, played game 2 and game 3.
Cam Murray's one of the best Origin players.
Yeah. But he's been so far removed from the injury. This is the first episode, remember? We did. Jimmy, last question for me around the depressor. This goes sort of where I have a bit of fun with it. And you want to talk about Laurie in particular?
Yeah, just... you like your depressors. I like them too. There's always a fair bit you can get from them. Just wanted to see what you thought about how Laurie handled the questions, his body language answering them, Yo sitting next to him, and what he thought of Laurie's responses.
So for Alana and Grub, who aren't familiar with this, so I call them depressors when you lose. It's different.
He watches the coaches' press conferences and just calls them depressors. Yeah. I call them depressors.
No, they're only depressors for the losers. The winners have pressors
just sitting there,
and the losers have depressors. This is the one thing with Laurie, and this is constructive criticism. This isn't a pile-on. I think being so far removed from not only Origin level, but also NRL level, not having any experience doing that for so long, I think that has been a factor in this series for sure. And that comes with media commitments, and I think the way you answer questions and being prepared for that stuff. So that would be my criticism for Laurie after is there are for sure when you can't speak glowingly about Billy Slater and the storylines that he was able to not manufacture, but bring for Queensland and not say, could Laurie have done things different? So when I looked at Laurie, I thought, there's rust. That's my that was my opinion on it. Straight after it, they got it done in game 1. Game 2, I think all that messiness around Billy and Woodsy was hard to navigate for him because he's such a good guy. That that can be perceived as weakness as well, right? If you are a diehard fan. And if you're Queensland, you're looking, all right, we got an inch, you can take a mile. So that's where I think with Laurie, and he's part of the Tab family, right? So we'll probably get him for the last episode we do around finals. So I'd love to ask him, sit down when we get him in here, and just ask him how being so far removed from it, from any coaching for so long, if there were things that he could critique for his own game around that, what would that be? So I'm looking forward to asking him. Really good episode, so much around Origin, a little sprinkle in there from the NRL. But the next episode and final episode of the season will be just before the finals. So we'll start chatting some finals footy. Thanks to the experts. Thank you to the fans.